Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here surrounded by some of Europe's brightest entrepreneurial minds and future leaders. Back in 2010, I had just quit my job with United Nations and started my own business. I got on a bicycle. I come from Kempten, that's in the Alps. Got on a bike, cycled to Berlin, to the Baltic Sea, and down the Rhine, passing through beautiful Koblenz and Wallendar. And I asked at the roadside, I stopped and asked people, how's your life and how would it be better? These two questions always with me. And from that, I started a company. But why? Because I wanted to make sure that when leaders decide over our future, they listen to young people's voices. I wanted to make sure that there are bridges between generations, because solutions can be so much more powerful when we develop them together. How is life and how could it be better? What I found out when I met Nick, a young carpenter, Tessa, a student of psychology, or Musti, a clerk in an insurance company, and so many more people, was this. Every one of us has their discomforts. And actually, we are experts in finding ways to live with them instead of solutions to overcome them. Why? Because we don't dare to talk about them. Because we don't believe there may be solutions. Or because we seek failures in ourselves instead of the system, so that we could solve them. Stress, inexperience, feeling lost, loneliness. You all know these discomforts. I'll show you why togetherness is the most powerful way to overcome them. And I need to ask you for support now. Please clap with me a rhythm, because it will help us to understand what's going on with us and around us. Please clap together with me, everyone, from the first row to the last seat there. A rhythm, tack, tack, tack. Not faster, not slower. This is the speed at which we swipe over our phones. Tack, tack. This is the speed at which we inform ourselves. Tack, tack. This is the speed at which we decide if we like or dislike something. And 3, 2, 1. This is one of the most precious moments that we can have in life, when we have attention and focus. And it is a precondition so that we can actually find solutions. Because in moments of attention, we can listen to ourselves, understand better our situation, and connect with the people around us. Tack, tack, tack. This is what also changed. This speed, we realize when we think about how we miss things in life because things just go too fast. This is when we compare ourselves with others. And when we not switch into this collaborative mode of doing things and finding things together. Attention is the first step to switch into this mode. Like in a school workshop that I ran recently in Berlin. I was at a professional school together with 20 young students, and we created a situation of attention and focus as a group. We put this tack, tack to silence and focus on what our discomforts are. From our youth research, we know that 50% of young people experience mental health as a huge burden, especially stress. Stress has many faces, and it is a huge discomfort. Actually, 20% of young people do believe they do need professional help, professional psychological help, to overcome this. And back in this workshop, there was this 22-year-old boy. And when he told a story, the whole room went quiet. Why? Because he told something that everyone experienced somehow. He does feel stressed, but nobody knew. He told the story of his mother who had an accident. She's now in a wheelchair. They live on the first floor. They have no elevator. And he, at his 22 years, going to school, having this job. This is a dual internship that he was doing. And he had all these tasks and was hardly able to make ends meet and to run this. When he finished his story, a woman got up and told her story. This 20-year-old girl, she said, well, I feel stressed because I'm not good at maths, but I need it. I don't have a room for myself. I'm sharing that with my 3 siblings. And actually, I would need a maths tutor. At the end of this workshop, we had not just created a situation of focus and attention, but we've also created a room in which to match people who have needs, discomforts, and people who can help them with their solutions. So at the end of this workshop, the boy had people who lived in the neighborhood and helped them, and the girl actually found 2 math tutors and someone who offered her a room where she could study. And this is the magic that we can experience, and that drives me as a youth researcher and leadership coach when I'm working with people and teams, when solutions come, when we activate the solution mode and find solutions and not excuses. I'll take you to an office, and we want to meet Tom. Tom is an experienced clerk in a law firm. Tom wears a timeless gray suit, he has a beautiful mustache, and he's a baby boomer celebrating today his 67th birthday. When he enters the room, all his young colleagues go crazy. And you know what happens. 6, 7, 6, 7. Tom feels awkward. He does not know what's happening. He has not heard about this 6, 7 trend and feels lost. Some of his younger colleagues explains to him what it's all about, and Tom still feels lost and thinks, what strange thing is that? I've run many workshops and generational surveys. And the essence of all this work with generations is the key is always communication. The key is communication when we create an atmosphere where people feel safe and sure they can follow. So we have Tom, and the solution here is not to ban trends like 6, 7, but the solution is that we define as a group the rules that we need, the rules how we communicate to make sure that everyone can follow and feel safe. Another example takes us to the German motorway. German Autobahn, famous for driving without speed limits. But who of you has thought about the people working there, making sure that the motorways are safe for us to use? I had the pleasure to work with the professional education team at the Autobahn. And what struck me there was their incredible sense of togetherness. I worked with them, and they had to demonstrate to me how things work, and it is ring, 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 ring. Yeah? Okay, accident on Highway A7. Yes, we'll go there quickly to secure the scene. If a team goes out to secure a scene on a motorway, this is a situation of stress, of danger, and you need to be prepared for that. We are working there in multi-generational setups. We have teams where elder and younger people work together. For the young people, this is huge stress. For the elder ones, Yes, it is a critical situation, but they are experienced. And what young people value most is not only the experience and the how-to, but also the calmness that they bring to the scene. And actually what they value so much is working together with them and realizing that when elder and younger people work together, we don't have static comfort zones, but comfort zones are growing by matching the ones of the elder ones and the younger ones, because everyone has things that they can give, that they can contribute. Actually, this is my comfort zone, and I don't really know exactly how big it is. I know that I can run a marathon in around 3.5 hours. Fine. I know that I can be without a smartphone and social media for a month. I've done that. Works. Fine. But there's one thing I really cannot stand. That does drive me towards the limit or even beyond of my comfort zone. If you send me a voice message of over 3 minutes, sorry, this is really at the rim or outside. I need to demonstrate that a bit more, and I do need your help for that. Would you please, to demonstrate that, put on a very mean face? Everyone, put on the meanest face you can do, and look at your neighbor to check if that really is mean. I hear more laughter than I see mean faces. And now, and now put on your mean face again. And when I count down, give me a really loud boo, okay? Like if you really don't like something. 3, 2, 1. Okay, that was in whisper mode. Can you do that louder? 3, 2, 1. Okay, that gives me shivers. We do that in a contrary direction. Please put on the friendliest, the cheerfulest face that you can. Look at your neighbor, make sure it is really friendly and cheering. And now everyone, please get up, stand up. Put on your friendly face again. And when I count down, please give me a strong applause and a yeah. 3, 2, 1. Actually, thank you. You did not need the detour for a whisper mode. That was strong. It was a wow. And perhaps you've realized it has changed the energy here. But thank you, everyone, for standing. You may sit down again. It would have been enough if one person stood up and gave me a boo, or one person staring at me with such a mean face to actually let my comfort zone shrink. And one true supporter who's going with me when I don't feel secure. Or one person that gives me a heads up when I need it can be enough to actually grow my comfort zone. I did need to demonstrate that you become aware how powerful the impact of you, of every one of us is, by the way we act and we react when we are together with others. And I'll take you back to 2010 again. 2010 was a difficult time for me. I was away for 12 years. I returned to my hometown to start my business, but it was like I was new in town again. I felt lonely, very lonely. And I know from research, I'm not the only one. This is a very big thing. Globally, every 5th person does feel lonely, and I'm sure here in the room, there are many people who, perhaps not always, not like now, know the times when they do feel lonely. I went out to bars, talking to people, but it did not feel right. I felt like a hungry wolf, and it did not feel pleasant. But now comes the magic part. I met Katja. Katja was a good friend of mine who also had just returned, and we said, well, what can we do? We could meet and we can invite friends. So you invite friends, I invite friends, and we meet on Thursday, 7 p.m. on the second Thursday next month. Okay, we met, second Thursday next month. Everyone brought a few friends. Next time, they invited friends along, and this meetup called TEDxWHU for Zweiter Donnerstag, second Thursday of the month, grew, and it became kind of an institution. It was so cool, and it was such a success that today, almost 15 years later, this is still a monthly meetup. And it was beautiful for me because I met incredible people. I was kind of new to my own town again, but I met people who were curious to do things, people who were active, people who wanted to connect. And I later got invitations to weddings by people who met there, by companies where founders met there and started that or became more successful. And actually, last year, 2025, there was a phenomenon on TikTok that reminded me somehow of that. Pudding mit Gabeln essen, eating pudding with a fork, where people meet in the park to do that. At first I thought this TikTok trend is so stupid, but actually it's not. When I looked at all these testimonials, why people went there, and hundreds and thousands up to New York went to these meetings, it was the magic of when people come together in real life and meet. And my own story also has kind of a happy end to these meetups. One of the people I met through that was my wife, Stephanie, with whom I have 3 children now. We do live in a generational house, multi-generational house, and run a successful business together. How is your life and how could it be better? Was the question that came with me all these years through all these interviews, the research, and the leadership things I do. And we cannot stop discomfort when we avoid it, but we can transform it when we face it together with our friends, our family, our colleagues, or in our communities. And much love to everyone taking this sense of togetherness out there and realize and experience the superpower of togetherness.